One of the most far-reaching bills in modern American history hangs in the balance this morning, and a handful of wavering Democrats will decide whether to vote for health care reform or let the president's signature issue die on the House floor. We are joined this morning by two members of Congress keeping track of the vote count, John Larson, the chairman of the Democratic caucus, and, of course, Eric Cantor, the Republican whip. So, Chairman Larson, where are the votes?
We have the votes. We are going to make history today. Not since President Roosevelt passed Social Security, Lyndon Johnson passed Medicare, and today, Barack Obama will pass health care reform, demonstrating whose side we're on.
But let me pin you down.
Go ahead.
You have the votes now.
We have the votes now.
You have 216
as we speak.
Commitments now.
Yes.
Do you believe them?
Well, Jonathan, let me tell you something. The American people don't want this to pass. The Republicans don't want this to pass. There will be no Republican votes for this bill. And frankly, I think if it does pass, it's because they're using everything in their political power and even some things they shouldn't have in their political power to cut political deals
like
to
what?
deliver the votes. Well, certainly you have seen the kind of political kickback deals that have occurred. You've got states like Louisiana that are going to receive $300 million more for their health care than any other state. And yet, if you look at sort of the comparison for this Louisiana purchase versus what Thomas Jefferson paid for Louisiana and do the analysis, this Louisiana purchase, it costs more than that original 1/5 of the landmass of this country. Those are the kind of political kickbacks that have facilitated this bill. And the American people are just tired of it. And, you know, I hear all the...
The only political kickbacks that are coming are to people like Natoma Campfield, who became the poster for the American people today. What's happening in terms of people being denied because of pre-existing conditions, having insurance policies rescinded in a gurney on their way to the hospital. We had Dennis Moore in our caucus stand up and was getting an email as he was speaking about a staffer who's just been diagnosed with cancer, who will lose her coverage after he leaves Congress. This is what's driving the people in this country. That's the process.
There has been a lot of talk about these deals, and you know, Nebraska came out or will come out with this reconciliation bill, but Louisiana's still in there.
Connecticut, Tennessee.
There's a new one for a North Dakota bank. I mean, why is that?
What the American people want to see is an up or down vote after a year of debating this issue, after several decades of debating this issue. It comes down to whose side are you on? Are you siding with the insurance industry, or are you siding on behalf of the people who've been waiting decades for this passage?
Jonathan, that is a false choice. Okay, the people,
no, that's the real choice for
the people of this country don't like this bill. There's a reason why it's taken so long. There's a reason why there's all this arm twisting going on. And at the end of the day, if this thing does pass, the American people are going to be outraged. They are scared about this bill.
Well, let's listen. Of course, President Obama came and addressed your caucus yesterday. Let's listen to what he had to say.
And this is one of those moments. We are not bound to win, but we are bound to be true. We are not bound to succeed, but we are bound to let whatever light we have shine.
Chairman Larson, how many Democratic House members are going to lose their seats as a result of this vote?
Well, every time you have a midterm election, you risk the chance of losing members. But it isn't about how many members are going to lose their seat. What the president said is right. It's about this moment. It's about the truth. It's every reason why you were elected to come and serve in Congress. You have 47 million Americans that don't have insurance, 14,000 dying a day. Excuse me, losing their insurance a day, thousands that are dying throughout this country because of lack of health care.
So, some will lose their seats, though, as a result of this vote, right?
That's quite possible.
Let me ask you about the way your leader, the Republican leader, talked about this vote just yesterday.
We're about 24 hours from Armageddon.
You used the word Armageddon. What did you mean by that?
This health care bill will ruin our country. It's time to stop it.
Okay, Congressman Cantor, come on. Is this bill going to ruin our country today if it passes?
Jonathan, what is going on from my perspective is the American people are full of fear about this bill. They see that this bill will take Medicare benefits from seniors. That's a scary thought.
Okay, but is this going to ruin our country?
Jonathan, it is about the fear. There is a better way. That's what's going on.
But I'm asking a specific question. I mean, we heard from the Republican leader in the House say that this is Armageddon. It's going to ruin the country. We have the vote tonight.
This is a bad bill. The people are frightened. They're frightened that they're losing their jobs right now. And here we're going to tax small businesses to the tune of $2,000 per job.
Does that ruin the country?
You've got families thinking, how are we going to pay for the $1 trillion debt that is going to occur from this bill alone? And how are our children going to pay for it? What it is, Jonathan, it is about trying to attack the American ideal. That's what's going on with this bill. People are beginning to think they won't have the life that they've had for their children. That's what's going on, and I think that's what the point the leader was going to say.
I respect the fact that they want to privatize Social Security. I respect the fact that they want to end.
Come on.
That's true.
But
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everybody ought to ratchet it back just a little bit. And when you have two members of Congress, two respected members of the Congressional Black Caucus spat on and hurled epithets that were just...
We had racial epithets.
That were awful.
Jonathan,
awful.
Jonathan, nobody
condones
that. Nobody condones that at all. There were 30,000 people here in Washington yesterday, and yes, there were some very awful things said. But, I mean, come on, nobody condones that kind of stuff.
Is it time to ratchet it back a little bit, though?
Ratchet it back.
I mean, ruining the country, Armageddon, is it?
You know what it is time for? It's time to listen to the American people, and that is the stunning thing about this. You know, John said that there'll be some members who'll lose their seat. This is a legacy vote. There's no question about it. It's a legacy vote, and it will have a lot to do.
On that note of agreement, we are out of time, and we'll be watching. You've told us you already have the votes. We'll be watching to see if you're right. Congressman Cantor, Congressman Larson, thank you for joining us here on This Week.